What's going on? My name is Justin Lance. This is Montani Barbell, and today we're going to talk about the box squat. In this video, we're going to discuss the benefits of the box squat, the technique, and then we're going to go through and break down the max effort session I performed on Saturday, and then we're going to top it off with specialty bars that are typically used with the box squat and their uses and benefits. Benefits of the box squat. First and foremost, the box squat is a tremendous posterior chain builder. All right, so you sit back further onto the box than what you typically would in a free squat, thus engaging more glute and hamstring. Okay, if you're like a gen pop lifter or just someone who wants to put some mass on their ass, this is the perfect tool in the arsenal to do so. If you're a power lifter, okay, and you're a wide stance guy, then this is going to mimic your competition style anyways. And if you're a close to moderate stance squatter and you wear ollie shoes, this is going to give you more power out of the bottom, okay, because it's going to bring your glutes and hamstrings up to match the quad power that you already have, okay. You increase power output from the bottom because when you pause in the box, you're disrupting the concentric eccentric chain. Okay, so you're not getting nearly as much stretch reflex as what you would with a free squat. Also, it's almost like a plyometric type movement. Okay, so by nature it's explosive because you relax onto the box, okay, and then you overcome it with dynamic movement. Another key benefit to the box, because you are sitting back further, you have a vertical shin angle, so you're taking some stress off the patella. Along with that, I advocate whether you're raw or geared or whatever, you should wear briefs when you box squat. It's going to help protect your hips. It's going to let you put more load on the bar, thus working more of your upper back and lower limbs. Okay, the more load that you have on your body, the greater potential for strength gain you're going to have because your nervous system is going to adapt to that load, like even when you take the gear off. Your toes, find a toe position that works good for you, okay? I advocate anybody who box squats take as wide of a stance as you possibly can, okay? Some people point their toes. I like to keep my toes straight. I feel like I have a lot more power in my hips when I have straight toes. Regardless, you kind of want to try to dig into the floor with your feet and really force your shin, your knees apart and try to rip the floor in half. Okay, so going up from your feet to your knees to your hips, everything's driving outwards, right? Okay, even from the time you step up to the bar and get your feet set, you're driving outwards from then to the end of the movement. Next, let's talk about grip. Find a grip that suits you. For me, I like to wrap my 3 fingers and thumb around the bar and drop my pinky because it helps drop my elbows down. A lot of other people take a full grip or like that thumbless grip. Doesn't matter. Whatever allows you to get in a good bar position and drop your elbows down. Your shelf. I want you to take the high bar, low bar stuff out of your mind. Okay, especially with the wider stance. Your torso wants to tip a little bit naturally. I know for me, whenever I was low barring it, that really contributed to my squats turning into a good morning because it made my torso tilt that much harder. Okay. You also don't want to have it all the way high on your neck because that's eventually going to make your upper back roll over too. Okay, so you kind of want to find the ideal part on your shelf. When I talk about shelf, what I mean is your upper back muscles, right? You really want to pinch everything tight together, squeeze it so it builds that nice tight shelf. So for me, I think of it like sitting the bar right in the middle of the meat of my traps. Next thing from there is air. Okay, so we really want to push our bellies into our belt. Pull air into the belly, push against the belt. Try to break the belt. You want to push your abs out, your obliques out. Really try to like push push your low back into it too. So if you look here at my big ass belly here, we're gonna pull air, like you're really pulling air in your lungs, but when you think about breathing in your belly, this is what happens, right? It tries to make you fat. So push out, and then we're gonna push our obliques out, right? Holding the oblique is something that's like, I'm having problems with right now myself. Next thing from that is the low back. I know a lot of people nowadays talk about like keeping a neutral position, but for me, when I try to do that, I still fall forward because I don't keep, my low back feels loose, right? So if I arch into it, it allows me to keep a more upright torso, thus allowing me to push into the bar out of the bottom. So let's talk about sitting onto the box, right? We want to break with the hips first and push them back until the knees break naturally, okay? Then once we're on the box, we want to drive up through the bar, okay? A lot of people go with the chest up cue. This one never really worked for me. It's taken me some time to finally narrow it down to what works for me, okay? I like to pack my head against the bar, raise my chin, find a spot on the wall, right? Everything's nice and tight, okay? We descend back into the box, we pause in the box, and then to come up, I think about driving my traps through the bar. I heard Ed Cohn and Dave Tate both say try to flick the bar off your back or slam your traps through the wall. Those work too, but for me, really, I've just kind of narrowed it down to traps. Like I just scream traps in my head. Grip the bar, find your feet, spread the floor, turn my ass, or squeeze my ass, driving out with my knees, get my shelf, get my air, pull my head back, gaze, hips first, back, back, back. As I'm going back, I'm spreading, back, 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 traps into the bar. Find my grip, find my feet, driving out, push my knees out, squeeze my ass, arch my lower back, find my shelf, okay, pull my neck back, lift my chin, find my spot, big air, arch and push your hips back. Traps. With the box, with the great benefits is that you can change your depth depending on your level, right? So if you're really strong and don't have any technical problems, you can go all the way down. If you need, everybody usually needs to have some kind of mat or something. I made a bunch out of cardboard. I'll make a hack video on how to do that at some point. But these make it really quick and easy to raise or lower the height of the box. Right, so I usually like my first couple warm-up sets to have it raised a little higher, and then as I get warm, I'll bring it down. All right, and then maybe at the end, if things are, not feeling the best, I can raise it up again, or we can use some of these foam pads so it'll sink. Okay, so my general warm-up. My warm-up's pretty straightforward. I just do a couple sets of reverse hypers, a couple sets of hanging leg raises, and some band pull-aparts. The reverse hyper gets the low back and glutes and hamstrings ready to roll, and then the
The hanging leg raise, again, it helps open the hips and gets the abs running, and then band pull parts to get the upper back prime. Breakdown and analysis of my max effort session here. Okay, so I do a few sets of just doubles with just the band and the bar. Right now I've got the box height raised up, and then this set I took it down a mat. So you see I got like a hip circle on to really kind of get my hips ready to rock and roll. At this point I'm still just wearing my shorts. I haven't gotten into my briefs yet. I won't do that for a little bit. But see how I'm, even with no weight on the bar, I'm grinding into it the same each time, right? I got to do a better job at gripping the bar harder, but everything's kind of dug into position. My neck is bowled back against the bar. My toes are straight. I'm pushing everything out. Okay, so we got 135 on here. Okay, again, same setup. Sit back, really driving the knees open, and really slamming the traps into the bar to get it going vertically. Okay, now we made another jump to 185. Another side note here is I'm flying through this pretty fast right now, like my sets. You don't want to waste a whole bunch of time on your way working up, right? So again, I'm wedged into the bar, sitting back, really drive my traps into the bar. Okay, and we jump to 225. Again, just wiggle it back, drive the head back, big air, arching the lower back. My eyes are focused on a spot on the wall, and again, driving the traps first to come up out of the bottom. Okay, 275. This is my first set with briefs. Again, the technique's still the same, even though I got briefs on. My stance is still the same. I'm still using the same cues. I'm spreading the floor. I'm really trying to arch and drive my traps into the bar to come up out of the bottom. Kind of my three big cues right now are, since my knees stay out pretty well on their own. The only things I really kind of focus on right now is keeping my chin raised, my low back arched, and then really trying to get myself to drive my traps into the bar on the way out of the bottom. This says when things start to slow down a little bit. As you see, I wanted to fall forward a little bit, but I had good positioning, so it was still vertical. You saw that little kind of catch there. This is 405. This is my second to last set. I kind of fall forward on this one worse than I do on the 415 that's coming up. But, I'm trying to keep big air, trying to keep my arch. I had a little bobble there with the bar, but we let it settle. And boom, drive the traps into the bar to come up. Here it is from the side. On this angle, you'll see kind of where the bar really sets at on my traps. And then you'll see where my lower back kind of starts to get loose when I get on the box. But see how everything's still driving out, and I'm trying to drive my head into the bar, but my torso falls forward a little bit before I'm actually able to engage into it, because that arch wasn't as good as what it could be. Again, my toes are straight, everything's driving out, my head's bowled back, everything's tight. Sit back, pause, drive the traps into the bar, and then we shut it down after that. Here it is from the side. Again, you're going to see kind of where I lose my arch at. So, I really got to keep pounding on that. Again, big air, digging everything into the bar, driving everything out. Sit back, arch, traps. Let's see where I got bent forward because I lost my arch. So a little bit about weaknesses. Weaknesses are either going to come down to being physical, technical, or mental. Okay, or some combination of all three. for example, falling forward in squat, right? It's a pretty common problem, but it can be, due to a degree of things. You might have a weak upper back, which causes you to roll over as you're going down, which then in turn makes your lower back roll over, and then you have no choice but your hips to rise first, right? Or it could be like me, where everything's locked in, but when I get on the box, I lose my arch, right? Because my low back isn't strong enough. And then that makes it so it's harder for me to drive my traps into the bar, which is all I'm screaming in my head to do. But it's not quite getting it done because the power transference is missing because of weak low back and abs. The mental thing, I've messed up squats before too, where you get too hyped, or you're so out of control that you forget little cues. Or you do something like you set the bar too high or too low. You didn't quite get it set in that ideal optimal position, and that in turn makes it so your chest wants to drop on the way down, and then you can't drive your traps into the bar to come up. For a long time I didn't have a good cue to get me to come up out of the bottom. Everybody always wants to say chest up, and that one just didn't make sense to me. But then when I finally kind of got it worked out in my head to pack my neck back and raise my chin and really just focus on arching and driving my traps into the bar, that's when things are starting to change now. Bar is the safety squat bar, specifically the Elite FTS SS yoke. It weighs 65 pounds, but its build is what really sets it apart from other safety bars. It sets up higher, the camber's more extreme, you can take the handles off. It's a game changer. Really wants to roll your upper back over, so this thing will build upper back strength like nobody's business, right? Because you really have to dig your head back against the pad and really arch and really fight against it so it doesn't dump you forward. There's some different ways to do it. You could set the yoke so it's more balanced. My personal favorite is to take the handles off and just pull the yokes into me, because then that's really wanting to roll you over and really engage in those traps. The second best thing is to have the handles on it, but you're pulling down with the handles into your body. Rackable camber bar. This one's from Rogue. It weighs 80 pounds. The camber bar really wants to swing you forward. Okay, so the camber puts the weight down more in your lower back and hips. So if you're like me, this is the bar you should be using a lot right now to build that lower back up. If you sit back too fast and get too loose on the box and roll backwards, it'll swing on you. If you let your chest drop coming off the box, it'll swing on you. And again, it really reinforces the need to arch, to really arch that lower back and stay stable and tight the entirety of the movement. Front squat harness. Front squat's a great tool. But for someone like me, I've never been able to really do it right with the clean grip, or the crossing my arms over, the old bodybuilder style always makes me round over. So I never really did these very much. Well, I finally got this front squat harness, and it makes a difference. Like, it makes front squats like a lot more doable, and you can load up on them more. It really reinforces you to stay vertical when you're sitting back. It really wants to roll your traps over too, so you really got to arch hard through the entirety of this movement. All right, so to summarize, we want to use the box squat to help bring our competition squat up, or if we're interested in more aesthetics, this will help build your ass up, right? From a technical breakdown standpoint, you want to have a tight shelf, Grip the hell out of the bar, have your chin raised, your eyes fixed on a spot higher. We want to be as wide of a stance as we can. Find a toe position that works for you, that allows you to spread your knees out and rip the floor in half and turn your glutes and hamstrings on. We want to arch our lower back, and we want to have big fucking air in our belly, right? Our abs pushing into our belt, trying to break the belt apart. To start the lift, we want to move the hips first back, okay? So we sit back, we keep arching, we keep driving our knees apart. We're going to pause on the box, and then we're going to drive our fucking traps up through the bar to get the bar to come up out of the hole, okay? We're going to keep our neck packed back the whole time, our back arched the whole time, big air the whole time, okay? When you do that, things will explode off the box. It's a great movement for max effort or dynamic effort. It's great to teach people how to squat that have never really squatted before, or it'll help somebody who's a quad dominant squatter balance out their strength, so when they do get back on the platform, it's that much more explosive, that much more stronger. I fucking love the box squat. It's fucking helped me out tremendously. I think it can help out a lot more people if they just open their minds to it. And again, you're gonna get way more transference if you build up that posterior chain by using the wider stance. Okay, ladies, guys, whoever it is, like if that's a lacking part of your physique and you're trying to build it up, man, it's great for that too, right? It is a glute hamstring builder like a motherfucker. This is a great movement. Fucking many lifters out there have used it in the past to build some fucking tremendous totals. So give it a shot. If you got fucking questions, comments, concerns, just leave a message.
All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, leave a comment in the comments section. I'll try to get to them. Be on the lookout for new content. We'll be posting, gym hacks, other movements in the toolbox, things of that nature as we go on, and probably some fun stuff here and there. My name's Justin Lance, and this has been Montani Barbell's Toolbox. Discipline and determination. Rock on.